This day, I bring you unusual option activity. Today is the 5th of February, 2021, and yeah, we got some unusual activity for you. I'm sure you're shocked to find that out. So let's get right to it, shall we? Our disclaimer is that what I'm about to present is for educational and informational purposes only. Full stop. And that means you need to decide if an investment is appropriate for you. And if that investment is appropriate for you, you are taking that risk, because all investments, by the way, involve risk. Just getting one more fill here. Hold on one sec. All right, yeah. And I see my brother Pete on WCCO radio just a little bit ago as well. Somebody just given me that little update. Thank you very much. All right, so also, in addition to the disclaimer, there's also our intellectual property rights, which are as follows. We have registered marks, we have trademarks, we have patents, we have copyright on much of what you're about to see, almost everything, in fact. So before you decide to use any of this, please make sure that you understand the risks involved, and that we would appreciate it if you asked us before you would reproduce this in any form. Thank you. All right, let's get to, well, this was one from yesterday. VERU, V-E-R-U, stock was $11.33. It popped after we made it our final trade. And again, I'm going to show you this not to show you folks that, oh, John and Pete can move markets. I'm flattered whenever that is the case. However, I'm following fast money, smart money into these trades. So the people that set the trade up for us were really the people that triggered this. Our algorithm saw it, and then we started paddling very quickly, just like a surfer, to get onto that wave and ride it. Now, as you know, those of you who have surfed, in some cases, you can just ride it all the way to the beach. In most other cases, you have to decide when you're going to bail, when you're going to get out of that trade in this case. And Pete and I have a discipline for taking losses as well as taking profits. So I'm using this one as an example that you need to be focused on taking profits if you're somebody that gets into a trade like VERU yesterday afternoon. Because, yeah, stock was $10.93. By the time I talked about it on CNBC for the final trade, it was 40 cents higher, $11.33. And then it explodes all the way up to 1450 print, just after we mention it. You can see the volume there. I'm pretty sure you can see that. That volume spiked right as I mentioned it, and it initially carried it to 1250, which would be a nice score for somebody that got in around 11 bucks. Then it kept going, and it went back and fill, back and fill, back and fill, back and fill, just kept going all the way up until it got to 1450, and then today it collapsed. So again, this is not just John patting himself on the back, oh, great trade, John. It was a very good trade. However, this is John telling you that if you're trading an $11 stock and it pops from 11 bucks or 11.50 to 14.50, $3, and you're looking at a 25% move in the stock in an hour, I think you need to examine your risk parameters if you didn't take some profits. We did. Now, not every option that I had did I sell, because I put on options for this trade, and I took off many of those options as it rallied. I was not in the stock, I was in the options. So as the stock rallied, I was selling calls, selling calls, selling calls into it in order to lock in as much as I could of the differential between the strike price that I owned and the strike prices that I was selling, the 13s, 1350s, 14s, that kind of stuff. If you did that, you're a richer person today. If you just watched it and said, man, this thing could be 20 tomorrow, then you're trading too much like some of those folks that just want to squeeze the GameStop guys, and they're not focused enough on the rest of what they should be focused on. So I'm just pointing this out. Yes, I am happy about all of you who took profits in it, but I am also using this as a cautionary tale about how you have to take those profits. You have to be as disciplined about taking profits as you are about cutting losses. All right. One of our big investments, Pete's and mine, is Voyager. They have grown like a weed. And this is from a press release that I just thought I'd share with you. By the way, Canadian publicly traded stock under the symbol VYGR. That's on the Venture Exchange in Canada. That's why you see the .cn on your screens. If you want to trade US listed, that is an OTC trade, and it is VYGVF. That's Voyager. Full disclosure, Pete and I are owners of Voyager. Not the owners, but we are equity holders of this particular name. And preliminary revenue, 8.5 million for the month of January. That's up from under 2 in December. So that's a phenomenal report right there, folks. We could stop right there. And then you look and see, oh, but February 1st through 4th, it's estimated that they did another 2.5 mil. Woo-hoo-hoo. In other words, a lot of people opened accounts at Voyager. And assets under management grew to $800 million. Bang. If you want to trade crypto, 50 plus cryptos for free, no commission. If you want to get 9+% on your deposited Bitcoin, go check out Voyager. That's my advice. Now let's talk about today's final trades. Dropbox stock was $24.59. I said, okay, Dropbox, that's my final trade today. There's Dropbox moving to the upside, $24.90. No, not a huge jump, not like yesterday, but it's up basically 40 cents from when we talked about it. Love the stock, love what Dropbox does, and I am still in the trade. I'm in calls, and I'm letting them run and selling upside calls against the calls that I own. Because as you know, one-to-one call spreads are one of my favorite trades to work my way into. That's our YouTube channel advertisement, meaning that we'd love it if you choose to subscribe for free to our YouTube channel, because that way you would get Pete's The Take, my workout video, my 3 at 3, our podcasts, all of it on our YouTube channel. You just go to YouTube, in the search bar, type Market Rebellion, and then click subscribe. If you also want to click on the upper right corner, you can click that little bell, and every time there's fresh content, you will be alerted that we've just put up fresh content on the YouTube site. Again, it is completely free, and you're getting some of the best financial information that you can possibly get, as well as some fun here and there. Because, for instance, yesterday I talked with the guys from Prop Shop for my podcast. Prop Shop is, as the name implies, a betting site where they don't take your bets, but if you have a prop bet, for instance, whether it's just Tampa Bay to win the Super Bowl from months ago, there's somebody who's long that from months ago that says, you know what, I wouldn't mind taking that money off the table now. I don't want to hold on all the way into tomorrow, into Sunday, and perhaps lose that bet. Instead, I can sell this, $200 bet that I made, and maybe I can sell it for $50,000. Now, they are a market for all of those kinds of trades. That's Prop Shop. So anyway, that's our YouTube site. You can get all of that on that YouTube site. Pete's The Take, my 3 at 3, my workout videos, and our podcasts as well. Thank you. All right, top tech picks. Teradata. It's one of my top picks. Why? Because of the cloud. Teradata is killing it. They had triple digit. That's over 100%. It was, in fact, 164% jump in revenue for cloud alone. Take a look at Palo Alto Networks, also a cloud and security play. Take a look at Palantir. You know how I love that stock. And all of those, because Scott Wapner wanted 3 picks that were not FANG. Here's 3 picks from me. All right, then I have Joel G, who's apparently a Tampa Bay Bucks fan, at Joel, JOELGON 31111. That's 3 followed by 4 ones, 7638. He says, Scott Wapner, looking forward to hearing from Jon Najarian's UOA today. Please give him some time to explain the positions. Need some good ideas to cover the cost of my Super Bowl tickets. Thank you, Joel, for that. DT would be one of those, Joel. DT, bullish call buying. The stock was 54.75. They're buying the Feb double nickel 55 calls. Paid $2.10 for these calls. I bought the Feb 55 calls. Why? Because that's the at the money. If these were the Feb 60s, I would not buy that. I would buy the Feb 55s. But buying an at the money, giving me a chance to sell an out of the money call against it, 1-to-1, is what I like to do. It helps me hit for a high average. That's what I'm going for. So DT, there's the stock, moving up to 55.47 from 54.75. So you guys get the idea. It's about a 75-cent rally. Since I mentioned Dynatrace on the half, no, I didn't get to do this one. That's right. We ran out and I only was able to do one today. So Dynatrace, DT, up 7% today. You see it there, $15.6 billion company and new 52-week high, bang. Just as I clicked on this, I missed it by a penny, but that is the 52-week high, 55.48, just a penny higher than what you see on your screen. Let's take a look at Zoom, ZM, Zoom. Stock was $414 a share. We noticed that somebody bought 5,300 of next week expiration. This week is the 5th of February. Next week, 7 days hence, will be the 12th, of course, going into President's Day, by the way. So we won't trade on the Monday after February 12th expiration. But nonetheless, they're buying the 430 strike. So after what I've just explained to you, if any of you think I'm buying those 430 calls, you are wrong, because that is a leap to the upside. Now, can a $400 stock move there quickly like that? However, I like buying an at-the-money call and selling an out-of-the-money call as the stock rallies. And guess what? That's what it's done. It's rallied. It's 417. It's $3 higher than when we cited it there. And it's been as high as 420 today. Gave me a tremendous opportunity to have those calls that I own, sell an upside call against it. This is a $121 billion monster. And instead of buying 1,000 shares, which would be a house, $417,000, I could buy 10 of those options and control that $417,000 stock, 1,000 shares at 417, for a lot less, maybe a 20th of that. That's why I trade options. And I can turn my trade into 100% profit a lot faster than anybody can turn that $417 stock into a 100% profit. You've got questions? I've got answers. At Jon Najarian is my Twitter handle. That's the @ JON. My dad was JOHN. Last name Najarian, Najarian. Or, again, for those of you listening on Sirius Satellite Radio, @ the number 3, the word at, the number 3 again, _ UOA for unusual option activity. VERU, let's do this. All right, it's just greens, and that's ITSJUSTGREENZ. Asks or says, hi, does that mean you don't do weeklies? What about leaps? Thank you. I'm super new to options. No, we do weeklies. We do dailies. I mean, if I saw a call today, chances are I wouldn't put it up on halftime today because that's such a short period of time. But if I saw it yesterday, I would put it up and say, be very careful, very fast theta time decay, and the volatility can also bite you in the butt, Vega. So, but yes, I trade dailies, weeklies, monthlies, leaps, all of it. So thank you for asking. It's just greens. Sava. Okay, buyer of 5,000 Sava, S-A-V-A. May 150 calls, Jon Najarian, Pete Najarian, at 3 at 3, at Market Rebels. Jon, can you look up the trade? Yes, I can, but unfortunately, Anshul, before I saw this, and by the way, Anshul's handle, folks, is at ANSHUL_meta, MEHTA1. So I will look it up. I will talk about it Monday. I'm sorry, in my prep for this, I didn't see it ahead of time that this was a question. So my apologies, sir. I will get that up for you Monday, promise. Hoka. All right. This is coming to me from Robert Morangiello, and his handle is at MORRO811. And he says, are those Hokas you're wearing? Hoka, folks, is a type of shoe. It's a running shoe with a very thick sole. So if you hit heel toe like I do, it takes 95% of that torturous bang when you're pounding out miles out of the shock to your knees, your ankles, all the way up your body. So Hokas, I love those shoes. It is all that I run in or walk aggressively in as well. Hokas, love them, Hoka, and I usually get them on sale. So they can be quite expensive. That's fine. Those of you who want to pay retail, go do it. But if you Google Hoka, Hoka, I think you'll find that there are many places that you don't have to pay $160 a pair for them. You can find them for maybe not half of that, but maybe about 40% off on a lot of sites. And I love those shoes. Thank you. Little tip from your Uncle John. And then we've got subscribe, which is coming to us from Tab, which the handle for Tab is @HURRYA1. Some YouTube accounts have a bigger audience than all of cable news combined. You are right. And that's a good thing. I think this was in response to something I posted about the ratings being in the toilet by 40 and 50% over at several of the big places that all they did was 24/7 Trump. I'm not talking bad about the man. I'm not talking good about the man. I'm just saying that if that's all your ratings were dependent upon is just you guys ripping that man who was formerly seated in the White House for all 4 years of his life, you need to get a life. But it's a free country. You can do that. And now they're reaping the other side of it. They reaped the benefits as their viewership grew during the times when people used to just love to tune in and hate on Trump. And now, without anything very interesting to talk about, apparently, certainly nothing as interesting as Donald Trump, now those ratings are suffering. And it's not a surprise that a lot of us on YouTube have more people watching us than they have watching those shows. And I think that will continue. Fake cash, all right? Robert Willis says, I hate fake pictures of cash like this. That case only holds about 300K at best. And this is coming to us from @ROBTWILLIS. I'll go with you on this, Robert. If you tell me that's fake, that it's not really $3.5 million, which is, I think, what the gentleman that made this bet said that the bet was for. Instead, if it's only 300K, okay. I just thought that it was an interesting news story, so I tweeted it out. This gentleman in the orange Astros jersey there, I guess he has a thing about orange, allegedly plunked down 3.5 million. And Robert says he doesn't think that that's the 3.5 mil, that it's only about 300,000. If you do that kind of counting, Robert, and you know, I'll defer to you, sir. But I thought it was a good story nonetheless. If you would like to learn more about Market Rebellion, go to marketrebellion.com. If you'd like to learn more about Market Rebellion's unusual option activity, go to marketrebellion.com/UOA. That is marketrebellion.com/UOA for unusual option activity. Thank you. Folks, we are grateful to each and every one of you that has given us a little bit of your time to tune in. Thank you for that. Thank you for your support on CNBC for myself and my brother Pete, as well as all of our staff at Market Rebellion. We are humble that so many of you choose to tune in each and every day. I think one day last week we topped 200,000 views. And so we really appreciate, and that's one show. We really appreciate that, folks. We will continue to try to provide the highest quality content that we can and provide it in such a way that it's not my opinion. We are saying smart money went this direction or that direction. That's the direction we want to go. We're not saying that we are the market movers. We're saying that we are the market takers. What the market gives, we see it with the heat seeker algorithm. We follow, we start paddling like crazy, catch up to that wave, ride it, take our profits. If the wave breaks too soon and we're not on well enough and we're into a losing situation, we cut that loss. You know my rules. I cut the loss at 50% on the option trades. On a 100% winner, I take off half. And let me just say, for instance, if that was a $1 option that went to 2, I'd take off half because I've doubled my money. Now I will put an option stop under to get out of the remainder at about $1.75. If that stock keeps running to the upside and that option keeps performing, I will keep rolling that stop up. So if the option then goes from $2 up to $2.50, you can bet that I will have rolled my stop order up to about $2.25. That's the way I trade because I want to be disciplined about taking profits as well as cutting losses. Anyway, with that said, folks, have a great weekend. I hope you have a good one. We'll see you back here Monday with more unusual option activity or UOA. Bang.